on about.
Okay, quick response from Suhel before I go to Manish.
But there's no disagreement. Parliament is important. It is the ultimate authority. But then Parliament has to function to take a decision. You can't convert Parliament into an akhara and expect people to believe that you will only wrestle and not be intellectually proficient. I'm all for Parliament supremacy. We all are. But the point is, look at what the messages the citizen is receiving. You in your opening remarks talked about their desire to get red lights on each MP's car.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that.
You know, you've had salary increases. So we don't grudge them that. They really work hard at times. But the point is, look at the flip side of it. I'm saying Parliament needs to earn its own respect back, the one that has dwindled over time because of the antics within the House.
Okay, I'm going to talk about that in more detail in just a moment. We have a couple of questions here from the audience as well. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, I believe that India and America are two different economies. Will FDI have the same impact on both? I think it will be different.
Okay, great question, yeah.
See, all said and done, I think Walmart must be already rethinking. One thing. Second thing is...
You mean they're getting scared?
The second thing is, like any other multinational, after a break-even period, if they can't make money, they will go. But the consumer will have a choice.
Okay.
You're getting the best for your price.
Interesting point. Yes, this gentleman here. Go ahead.
When Walmart comes to India, it's going to have certain standards and certain technicalities. So do you think the poor man will be able to adapt to them?
Well, I mean, it's going to be only be in big cities anyway. It's not going to be in rural India. Yes, this girl.
Like we have the women who are purchasing like grocery products from just as a credit. If Walmarts will come, shopping complex, they will take place. Well, their survival will become a difficult. Put a question mark on that.
Okay, so everyone has different points of view on this. Manish, I need to ask you this. You know, we're going to talk about Parliament a little more in just a few minutes. But what is the way out? Because you, Ravi Shankar Prasad, Suhel, Seth, Neerja, all of us, we all agree that Parliament should run. And all political parties keep saying that they want a debate on the floor of the House. They want Parliament to function. Why isn't Parliament functioning? How are we going to get out of this logjam?
Well, Nidhi, before I address that, may I just respond to a point which was raised by the Right Honourable Chief Spokesperson of the Bharatiya Janata Party, you know, with regard to Delhi, with regard to New York and New Jersey.
Why you both are not addressing each other by name?
At the end of the day, you know, what are we offering? We are offering an enabling framework. Ultimately, it is for the states to decide as to whether they are going to license a kind of a Walmart or a kind of a supermarket to operate or not. For example, if in the BJP-ruled states, you know, they do not want that these establishments to come in, you know, they are very free to keep them out. But why are you imposing your veto on those states which would possibly want them in? Because at the end of the day, this is only an enabling framework. Every franchisee who comes in, every person who wants to invest needs a license from the state government under the Shops and Commercial Establishments Act. So therefore, it is really at the mercy of the state governments and as to what policy do they formulate in their legislature or their executive.
Manisha, I'm going to come back to you on the question of Parliament. Just give me a moment, because we have other important news that's coming in. I'd like your views and Mr. Ravi Shankar Prasad's views on this as well. Parliament's Standing Committee on the Lokpal Bill finished its meetings today, and what we've learned is that most members have said the Prime Minister should come under the ambit of the Lokpal, but only after leaving office. There were 8 MPs from the BJP and the left, however, who wanted the PM to be included even while in office, but with safeguards such as excluding issues like national security. There's also a dissenting note that BJP MPs are giving on the decision to exclude the lower bureaucracy, which has been a key demand of Team Anna, and that could now result in this new flashpoint with Anna Hazare. Sandeep Phukan has more on that. Sandeep, this at the end of the day looks like another confrontation with Team Anna, doesn't it?
Absolutely. I think so far, Nidhi, all the meetings that took place were going on pretty non-partisan basis, and there were major agreements on many other issues. But when it came to the issue of whether or not the Prime Minister's office should be included, I think there was a three-way split, and I know the numbers. 8 members, mainly from the BJP and the left, they said that yes, the Prime Minister, while being in office, should be included, provided there are some safeguards. 6 of the members, mainly from the Congress party, they said no, include the Prime Minister, but only after he or she demits office. That's pretty much the government model. And there were 5 members in all today who were completely opposed. One of them, of course, was from the Congress, another one was from SP, another one was from BSP, Mr. Vijay Bahadur Singh. So overall, there was Amar Singh also who attended this. So overall, you know, that some favored, I mean, in some form or the other, about 14 members of all those who were present today wanted the Prime Minister's office included. But thereafter, of course, the BJP decided that on the issue of not inclusion of lower bureaucracy and citizens' charter as demanded by Team Anna, they will give a dissenting note. The left, Samajwadi Party and SP and left parties have already given their dissenting note. And just if I may add quickly, Nidhi, just how important this bill is can be gauged from the fact that the chairman of the standing committee, Abhishek Singhvi, as soon as he finished his meeting there in Parliament Annex C, he actually drove down here to the Prime Minister's residence where there is a meeting of the Congress core group is on. So we saw Law Minister Salman Khurshid driving in, and then Abhishek Singhvi driving in. So the government took stock of the progress made on the Lokpal bill. Remember, they've lost crucial days, working days, so whether or not actually this government can pass this bill in this session, that's the key question.
Yeah, and thanks a lot for that, Sandeep. And then, Neerja, there are actually problems on 2 fronts. One is the fact that we don't know whether this session is even going to happen at this rate. 2, obviously, Anna Hazare's key demands haven't been met. He held another press conference today threatening an agitation. So should the government be worried today?
Well, obviously, because he's talked about one-day dharna on the 11th, and he's talked about indefinite agitation from the 27th. And it was, you know, clear from the beginning that given the differences in the standing committee, there was no way that they'll be able to meet all his demands to the letter T. And I think that reflects the opinion in Parliament. It's not unnatural to have people say, you know, Prime Minister's office, I have a certain view. I think it would be worse to have the Prime Minister come in within the ambit after he demits office, because at least then there won't even be the party to back him and support him.
Right.
He will have to do it. But that apart, you see, it's not unnatural. The Parliament has to debate it, should debate
someone has to tell Team Anna that. But let me ask Mr. Ravi Shankar Prasad. Mr. Prasad, the BJP has been very supportive of Anna Hazare's movement. Now you've seen the standing committee has a certain view on this. There may be different points of view. You have a dissenting note on some issues. At the end of the day, would you at least appeal to Anna Hazare not to go on another agitation over this and to respect the wishes of Parliament once this does go back to the House?
Nidhi, first of all, I do not know what the report is about. It will be completely inappropriate on my part to make a comment there. On the principle as to what I heard from you just now, we are all for inclusion of the Prime Minister in the ambit of Lokpal. Otherwise, situation, obviously with safeguards like national security or foreign affairs, etc. Now, here is the case that if a Prime Minister is perceived to be involved in wrongdoing, the country must suffer him for 5 years. And as Neerja rightly pointed out, after he is out, he must fight his own battle. This is not the way in which you fight against corruption. We are all for citizen charters. We support the larger issues raised by Anna Hazare team. But as far as the implications are concerned, surely a bill will have to come to the Parliament. And I'm sure the whole thing will be debated. And whatever reservations we have shall be articulated. Only one quick point I need to clarify. It has been mentioned here. The right to have an FDI is a power reserved to the Government of India under the constitutional scheme. If a policy comes about, a state can certainly not give license. But any player can go to the court and get a direction to that effect, as it happened in the case of Planetoon in Kerala, where they got the order of left government cost of refusal to grant them permission once the policy is already there in place. These issues are too well known. Therefore, giving the right to the government to say yes or no takes us nowhere.
But on the issue of Anna Hazare and agitational and his agitational stand, would you say that the time for agitation is over and it's time for Team Anna to respect whatever Parliament decides to do?
Certainly, after all, a law shall be passed by the Parliament. They have also stated, and I expect that should be their stated position. Now, how the debate goes in the Parliament, how it comes about, but if, yes, for that matter, citizen charters, I am all for a citizen charter, why not? Bihar government has brought about it, Uttarakhand government has brought, Himachal government has brought, Madhya Pradesh government has brought, I am told even some other governments have brought which are non-BJP government. that a citizen has got the right to have its grievances on issues like pension, on ration card, on householding, on these things are too well known.
Okay, but let me ask Manish then. Manish, finally,
what is wrong with that?
Right. So Manish, when you look at this, and we've already had Kiran Bedi on the program last night, she was absolutely furious. She feels that the sense of the House, the standing committee has betrayed the sense of the House, that they will go on an indefinite fast over this. You've heard what Anna Hazare has had to say. What would be your message to Team Anna today?
Well, I think, Nidhi, let's wait to see what the final form of that report is. I don't think it will be appropriate for me or anybody to second guess, till the time the report is not formally tabled on the floor of the House. After all, they've been working on it now for over 3 months. They have collectively applied their minds to it. And I think they will come out with a comprehensive document. And once we have it, in front of us, it's been tabled in Parliament, I think then we'll take a call on it. If at all something needs to be said, something needs to be articulated, we would definitely articulate it. And I would just like to respond to what Mr. Ravi Shankar Prasad had said, with regard to giving the right to states. He's absolutely correct when he says that the states, are kind of presented with a fait accompli, and if somebody gets a direction from the court, the states would have to honor it. But equally, by that logic, the states have a right to contest it. The states can go and put their point of view before the same very courts which give the direction. So that argument goes neither here nor there.
All right, glad to see you addressing Mr. Prasad by his name. That was one of the more fascinating exchanges on this show between the two spokespersons. Thank you, Mr. Ravi Shankar Prasad.
Thank you, Mr. Manish Tiwari. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Prasad.
All right, we have to take a break though. When we come back, I think perhaps the most absurd story of the day. We've seen the House being disrupted again and again. But MPs want more privileges. They want those red lights on their cars and they want special courtesies extended to them. I love this story. Do stay tuned for that. Well, it was the 7th straight day of an adjournment in Parliament. Not a single day's work has been done in this session, and there's a very real fear that this session could turn into a repeat of what happened last year when the entire session was wiped out. And ironically, in the middle of all of this, the parliamentary panel has suggested more privileges for MPs, like red lights on their cars. At a time where Parliament is adjourned every day and there's very little work for MPs, there's a move by the Privileges Committee of the Lok Sabha to give our MPs more perks, like red lights, and also to teach bureaucrats to treat them much better.
The committee recommendation is a recommendation of the Parliament, because committee is an extension of Parliament. So committee's
they can reject also, sir.
Committee's recommendation can be discussed in Parliament, can be accepted as it is. If any member want to discuss this recommendation in the House, they can raise the issue.
Do you think it's a little inappropriate for the timing, because people are a little feeling upset that MPs are not doing that much work, and at this time this is being put in. Do you think it's inappropriate?
I don't think so. The privileges of member parliaments are appropriate. The timing is also appropriate because the parliament is in operation, and most of the MPs, once they get together, this is something which is annoying the MPs quite a bit.
I don't think it's contradictory.
You don't think? Yeah, you don't think that, when people are
I don't think it's related. I don't think it's related at all.
But you don't think that it upsets, like, Janta who are seeing the parliament's not working, and also Privileges Committee is in fact trying to get more powers to the MP. You don't think that should happen?
No, I would say, like I said, I don't think these issues are related.
MPs are MPs. They are supposed to be serving the people and the country, living with them and identifying with them and with their problems. I don't know what privileges MPs need further. I do not know it.
So what do people think about this special treatment to MPs?
To drive around in cars with beacons, they should be given courtesy by the bureaucrats, and that is something that should be imbibed with the training of the bureaucrats. Do you think this is justified at a time?
No, absolutely not. This is not at all justified because first of all that they are the public representative.
बिल्कुल ही सही तरीका नहीं है जो वो लोग क्यों लाल बत्ती इस्तेमाल करेंगे या कोई चीज भी इस्तेमाल, ये सारी तो जनता की प्रॉपर्टी है.
The cars are misused basically on the roads, and most of the corruption are done by these cars only actually.
MPs feel that they deserve these privileges and perks because they represent large numbers of people. But many feel that perhaps these things should be linked
to some kind of accountability. In New Delhi, Snetra Chaudhary for NDTV.
Right, I know we're laughing about this, but it's a serious issue. But Suhel, why is a red light such an important... does it mean you're a VIP if you have a red light on your car? I think it's ugly.
I think it's silly because, you know, even if you have a red light, look at the traffic situation. Unless they plan to make these